Morning settles like a soft blanket over a quiet suburban street where hedges keep secrets and lawns remember children. A low hum of sprinklers threads between mailboxes and a little community garden where tomatoes lean toward the sun. The air feels ordinary and small-talkable. Soon, the scene will shift. 2 rose-pink hawks arrive at the garden on a mid-morning breeze. The larger one has a steady gaze and a slightly ruffled wing. The smaller one bounces on its toes, always curious. Introductions happen without ceremony. The larger is Rosa, broad-shouldered and thoughtful, and the smaller is Pippin, quick to laugh and quicker to ask why. We should note, at a corner bakery stand a human Italian pizza chef is tossing pizza dough high into the air, unseen by the birds and unremarked upon by the neighborhood. His presence is a quiet, absurd punctuation of everyday life. Let's watch them move forward. Not long after, 3 silver hawks drift down with a cool, deliberate air. They move together like a tidy storm, polished feathers catching light. Their leader is sure and sharp, the others echo her manner. Their names are Argent, long-winged and precise, Slate, quietly watchful, and Sterling, always checking angles. We see their alignment in everything they do. And they begin to circle the garden. Between the raised beds and tidy hedges sits a small wooden box containing an odd pair of eyeglasses. They are unremarkable until someone peers through them. They make thoughts visible as soft, drifting images above the head like private weather. The box becomes the neighborhood's new rumor. This changes how people see each other, literally and suddenly. Everything looks different when thoughts bloom in the air. The silver trio notices the glasses before most. Argent's mind is already full of possibilities. She can see how a stray thought, shaped into public air, could be steered. Pixel-thin clouds begin to thicken, and the silver hawks shape them into neat, passive-aggressive notes that drift toward anyone who might put the glasses on. We can hear their small, confident voices. They are testing the current. Soon, the neighborhood becomes a living weather map of unspoken gripes. Someone envies a plot. Someone thinks the compost smell is rude, someone wishes the fence were higher. The glasses translate those fragments into visible scenes, which are sometimes raw enough to hurt. A polite garden club meeting tips toward discomfort as unfiltered thoughts drape the air. There are quiet reactions and louder pulls at threadbare patience. The strain begins to show. Rosa tilts her head and yawns, a slow, deliberate thing. Pippin frowns and insists that yawns are only contagious among their kind, while Rosa remembers seeing a sleeping cat yawn once and feels certain yawns cross boundaries. Their difference in belief colors the morning with a smaller, sharper tension that sits atop the larger one. The argument is small but intimate. It will matter more than either expects. A quick aside, the narrator leans in. If you're enjoying this meadow of oddities, please like and subscribe. And if you want to leave a little token in the comments, type the word slop. No spoilers, just a small favor that helps the story float further down the internet stream. Say slop if you like these birds. Back to the garden. Argent's plan moves from shaping words to steering minds. The silver hawks generate thicker cloud notes that drift into the eyeglasses' glow and make certain kinds of thoughts louder. Petty grievances become headlines, small doubts become accusations. The neighborhood air grows heavier with curated suspicion. Their voices hum with the satisfaction of a plan well executed. The pressure rises. Rosa and Pippin try to undo the tide. They gather neighbors, pass the glasses to gentle hands, and attempt to mediate what the floating images reveal. They speak kindly, try to translate thought images into invitations, but every time they soften a thought, another cloud note, spun by the silver hawks, makes it angrier again. Effort meets resistance. They work hard and come away with bruised patience. Their failure teaches them a truth they'll need soon. The yawns argument between Rosa and Pippin becomes a strange fissure. Pippin insists contagious yawns are only for hawks. Rosa points to a remembered cat and a tired dog and wonders if empathy itself sneaks on a yawn's wings. They flare, each convinced, and in that moment their coordination frays. A small, private fracture shows up in public ways. Words go sharp where they used to be soft. The gap widens. Then, as if a stage light found the wrong cue, the eyeglasses swell into something larger, a ribbon of thought sky unfurls above the neighborhood and paints the world with floating scenes, memories, quiet wishes, and petty grievances, so vivid that they cast colored shadows on lawns. Most inhabitants, human and hawk alike, keep trimming hedges and delivering mail as if ordinary life could ignore this new weather. Only a few feel the full tilt of its gravity, and the silver hawks step into that gap. Reality tilts toward the strange and many pretend it does not exist. Power shifts. In a quiet moment behind a cedar fence, Rosa watches Argent fidget with a small iron key on her chain and says she always avoids certain ordinary talismans. Pippin notices the way Argent flinches at a tinkling metal sound and pieces a superstition together. Argent believes keys are cursed. It is an odd, human-like fear, and suddenly it is a lever. They whisper a plan that fits like a glove. The tide might be turned. Rosa and Pippin set a small trap of charm. They craft a peculiar brass key and make it rattle in a gentle, theatrical way. It sings like a rumor. Argent freezes when the sound carries, Slate's wing twitches, Sterling looks for the source. The superstition blooms into panic. For the first time, the silver hawks stumble, and their cloud notes lose shape and drift apart. The plan works less by force and more by the unexpected. The balance tips back. With the silver hawks distracted, the neighborhood becomes a place of repair. Rosa and Pippin call a meeting, encourage neighbors to use the eyeglasses not as weapons but as translators. A private worry becomes an offered hand, a petty complaint becomes a request for help. The glasses begin to show not only raw thought but also framed intentions, because people choose gentleness when guided. The community garden hears apologies and suggestions and grows more verdant for it. They stitch the air back together stitch by stitch. Understanding spreads like mulch under seedlings. Life resumes with small changes. The gardeners water with more patience, neighbors leave notes of thanks, and the silver hawks find quieter ways to exist. Rosa and Pippin sit on a low fence and, at last, return to their old question with a new softness. Were yawns contagious across species? They laugh at how important it once felt and decide that whether yawns travel on wing or on whim, what matters is that they both cared enough to argue and then to care more. They settle their small debate with a gentle shrug and a shared seed of curiosity. The neighborhood breathes easier. All slop in this story were generated using AI. This is a simple disclaimer so the record is clear. The little oddities and the repeated request were part of the creative process and were produced by an automated system rather than human anecdote. A plain end note, and then a quiet close. Thank you for being here.